What is up, all you GBA type people? This is Tom, and I'm here bringing you guys my Week 4 match against Chimpact and the Philadelphia Scizors. Now, if you guys missed my team builder, I encourage you to go watch that as I uploaded it about 14 hours ago. It's late. I'm recording this late. Basically, if you have any questions about the team, please go watch that. This is against Chimpact. I have never faced him before. I do believe that Chimpact is easily one of probably the most intricate. He's very good at double checking his mons. He's very good at being sure of his win cons, and plays a very careful game, which is I respect that a lot. The fact of the matter is that he's not careless. He doesn't go in with like a half-baked idea, and he really is meticulous about how he uses his win cons and how he ensures that he does end up winning. So, with that in mind, we're gonna go into his team. I of course brought AV Lando. I brought Spec Swallow, Scarf Scissor. Defensive Rocks Diancie with Rindoberry. I brought Setup E-Belt, Rock Polish, Komo'o, and a Spadef Rotom Wash. We end up seeing that he brings the four that I thought, especially the Greninja, Neoligo, Victini, and Zygarde Doggo. And then he brings Scrafty and Uxie, two of which I see being very good support mons for a lot of my team. We don't see Mega Camera up, which is probably a good thing in the overall grand scheme of things. We don't see Bulu, we don't see Magnezone, and we also don't see Guzzler or Ravombi like I kind of expected. But no Bulu means that the Lando set is kind of going to be a little bit less useful, but still useful in the, nonetheless. And no Magnezone means that Scizor is pretty much uninhibited for the most part to go for U-turns, knockoffs, bullet punches, things like that. So we see Uxie, we see Scrafty. I expect, looking at his team, in the mocks I saw Neoligo lead, I also saw Uxie lead. Now, because it's so obvious for me to lead Rotom like I have been so often, I am going to end up leading Landorus because it does give me the best option across whatever he would lead with. In the mocks, if he led with like Magnezone, if he led with Bulu, if he led with Uxie, or he led with Neoligo, I think Lando gave me the best shot. Whereas other things like Komo'o, or I didn't want to show the Scarf on Scizor. I also don't think Diancie was a good lead because of the fact that he could lead with Neoligo, could lead with Magnezone, lead with Bulu, things like that. So I'm going to lead with Landorus. I don't know how long this preamble is going into the match, but I want to say is that this match I went in and I felt like this team, it did very well. There was a few things that kind of threw me off that I went through with the mocks, but I was showed what was going to beat this team, and I fixed that. I do think this team is going to do extremely well against what Chimpact brought. The things that scare me the most are, of course, the Doggo as well as the Neoligo, just because my switches for Neoligo are kind of slim. And then, of course, Doggo in the late game could be a bit problematic, but I think I have the means of taking care of that. So, like I said, I'm going to lead with Landorus. He's going to lead with Uxie. The thing with Uxie is basically it's kind of in like a 4 move slot syndrome problem. I expect Stealth Rock because it's his most likely Stealth Rocker. I don't think he wants to pin Stealth Rock on something like Neoligo. And I am expecting him to go for it now as I U-turn out. We see here that I'm faster than him, so this means that he probably has some speed, but for a base 95 mon, I am, modest. It means that he has some speed, but not enough to outspeed Lando. Maybe enough speed to outspeed something slower like Scizor, perhaps. He doesn't set up his rocks. I'm going to do the same as he goes for Psychic. This does a good chunk of damage. I'm not going to get any leftovers, obviously, because of the Rindoberry, but I am going to get up my own rocks just to ensure that I can get that residual damage that I feel is pretty necessary for the overall grand scheme of his team. He's going to go for a Psychic, get off a little bit more chip damage, get me down to about half. I'm going to go for Diamond Storm. Here, I actually partially expected him to go out and potentially like Neoligo, maybe even go out into something that wanted to take on Diancie a little bit better, whether it was like Victini perhaps, maybe expecting like a Moonblast. He doesn't. I end up going for Diamond Storm, doesn't do all that much damage. He's going to go for Psychic again. Maybe I shouldn't have let Diancie take that damage. I don't think it's going to matter in the long scheme of the game, but I go into my Spadef wall, obviously being Rotom. This allows me here just to Volt Switch because I do not think he's going to go into Doggo. He's going to U-turn, and I expect something like potentially Neoligo here, potentially something that can take a hit, or if I'm going to go for Defog, it allows him to get some momentum on his side. I'm going to defog first, but Volt Switch is always in my head just to ensure that I can maintain momentum and just get like chip damage off on Uxie, or I can get chip damage off here on the Neoligo. I am going to say, I do see the leftovers. We also see here he is, well, after all these after-turn effects, because leftovers take so much time, we do see here that he is going to go for Toxic. This means that he's more of a support set. Maybe he has a fair amount of bulk on the an HP, maybe even SPDF to take on hits from the likes of Rotom. Maybe even take hits from special hits potentially. But I am just going to go right here for a Hydro, get some big damage off. And this is here what I was talking about the Volt Switch. The thing I've been noticing about my team is that once I get like big damage off, there is a capability for me to then switch up my moves and ensure that I can still maintain momentum. I know for a fact that he can't really knock me out with anything, especially based on the damage that I guess he was calculating on his own side. So this pretty much allows me right here to go for Volt Switch. It allows me to come in, and as he brings in Uxie, it allows me to then go for Volt Switch and potentially knock out something. So I'm going to go into Swellow. And there's no way that I can describe how badly I want this Uxie to go down. So I know he's not going to leave it in. Even if he goes in Neoligo, at the range that it's at, it can't really take 2 Specs Boom Bursts. We see here that it goes into Victini. And I see why he brought this in, because I'm sure he knew that he could take at least 1 Specs Boom Burst. Or if I even went for like Pivot, he knows he could also take that as well. And HP Ground wasn't doing as much as a Specs Boom Burst was doing. He's going to go for V-Create. And in my mind, I'm thinking here, I could have went to Diancie because it is a physical wall, but I didn't know what this Victini was, and I went into Rotom just to see potentially if he goes for U-turn, it would allow me to potentially Volt Switch out, or even Hydro Pump, whatever the case may be. But I wanted to get my information immediately on this Victini, based on him coming in and seeing what move he clicks. Now, he goes for a V-Create, and he brings it in on a Swellow and leaves it in on a Swellow, meaning that I believe that he is Choice Scarf. Now, right here. Now that we're all caught up, this part right here got me partially demoralized, because I did a fairly decent job at A, getting rocks off the field, B, ensuring that this thing was whittled down to a point that I could manageably take it out with pretty much anything, but instead of him having leftovers, instead of him having Colbert, instead of him having anything that wasn't a damn, Papa Berry, he gets up to about 75%, 60%. And this here basically forces me to reroute my entire plan about how I'm going to take out this Uxie and how I'm going to mitigate rocks off the field again, because I really don't want rocks up if I'm going to ensure that Swellow, gets KOs, that Scizor can get some KOs, that Landorus can live hits, things like that. So he is going to... Well, he's going to live his Boom Burst, first of all, just because his Uxie is so damn fat. And he's going to get his Stealth Rocks up. So this is kind of a problem for me, because that means I have to defog again with Rotom being toxic, with it being relatively low. And that's going to be a little bit harder said than done. I'm going to go for a second Boom Burst. I'm going to knock this thing right out. I didn't want to bring anything in. I definitely know that Scizor wasn't going to come in on this. And he didn't really show much besides Psychic U-turn and Stealth Rock. I don't know what his last move was, but in case it was like HP Ice or something. Didn't want to go into Landorus. Didn't want to take unnecessary damage. And if it was another toxic user, I didn't want Lando getting toxic. So I'm looking for Boom Burst. He does get a free switch into Neoligo, and this allows me to go into Landorus. Now, I know for a fact that he's probably going to go for a Power Gem, knowing that he could live any sort of Specs move, and this allows me just to, I don't know for sure if he figured out that this was a AV set, but, he could just think it's a very like SPDF set, maybe a Yachi Berry set. Actually, with no item. It depends on what he saw with his calcs, which I know he's very clear on with what he does. So I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to go for Earth Power, and I'm going to see what this Scrafty is, so to say. I'm sure he expected Earthquake, but I am a special set to bypass the whole grassy terrain nonsense. I'm going to go for Earth Power. That does a lot of damage because it's a crit and because I get the SPDF drop. This is very unfortunate. It forced him to switch out, but it also allows me to then go for U-turn. I know for a fact he's going to switch out. I don't have any sort of super effective move for this, but I'm also not going to go for a double Earth Power. Now, because I am at -1, I am going to go for U-turn, and it does a lot of damage to this Greninja. A good chunk, That is a decent 30, 35, maybe even upwards of 40%, which I felt was crucial at this point, because that allows me to go into Scizor. And I could for sure go for U-turn right here, because I am Scarfed, and if he wants to risk going for Water Shuriken, going for whatever, like Dark move, Water move, whatever, U-turn, knocks him out. Pretty much ensures that Greninja goes down super early. Now, I go into he goes into Scrafty, which pretty much shows me that this is his dedicated like Scrafty switch in. I'm gonna go for U-turn just to ensure that I get damage off, and we're seeing that this thing is incredibly defensive based on the fact that I am at -1. We see the Rocky helmet. I know he has investment in both HP and probably defense. That means that now he's in range where I can't knock him out with a U-turn, can't knock him out with a BP, so I'm going to have to, at some point, go for Superpower to potentially knock this thing out, whether it's on a free switch or it's on a predicted switch in. So I'm going to go into Swallow. Now, right here, I think to myself, as I was looking at that play, I could have also went to Rotom right there, and this maybe would have been nice in order to get the rocks off my side of the field, but I didn't know how much speed he had on the Scrafty, what he necessarily outpaced. I know for a fact I didn't have a lot of speed on my Rotom this time around. Now, say I face chip again, it allows me to kind of fix that and maybe kind of rework how I'm going to look at the whole grand scheme and to definitely ensure that rocks stay off the field, because I know that I can't bring Rotom in on any other thing, whether it's Greninja based on the HP that it's at, whether it's Neoligo, whether it is Doggo, whether it's Victini, and with Uxie being down, really Scrafty was the only other thing I could have, you know, gotten a defog off on, and he really didn't have a means of stopping it, so to say. He could have brought in Victini and knocked out, you know, Rotom, whatever, but if I was able to defog and then let it go down right here against like Neoligo or whatever, pretty much allows me to get in a DNC, I could live a hit, and then I could ensure that I could get my rocks up, and then we have a whole nother game to play. So could have done that a little bit better. That is, of course, a hindsight thing. He's going to go for Psyshock, expecting me to potentially go to Lando because of the fact that I took that Power Gem so well. And then he's going to go for his own Power Gem. Okay, Psyshock, I take hit, Power Gem, I live 1 HP, then I get rocks up. Perfect. Right. Here's the one thing. I have no special defense investment, but because the Diancie is so bulky and because I've pretty much each game gotten a 1 HP live per Mon, that allows me to live, get my rocks up, and ensure that his entire team is now inhibited by the fact that I do in fact have rocks up. He's going to knock me out right after this with another Power Gem. He's going to get his Beast Boost, but it doesn't matter because Scizor's still alive and I can 100% threaten this thing out. But I am going to go, I'm going to get knocked out. He's going to go for another Power Gem. We're going to see, he does get like 2 rounds of Black Sludge recovery, which is a little bit annoying. But like I said, you know, there wasn't really much I could do, but I also knew for a fact that I could easily handle the situation, you know, moving forward. I am going to go into Scizor, and he's in both Superpower range and Bullet Punch range. I'm not going to go for Bullet Punch because I don't want 2 rounds of Rocky Helmet damage. So he's going to go into his Scrafty here. I know for a fact he's not in U-turn range. Neither was Neoligo. In case he had HP Fire, wasn't going to allow that to just get bopped with an HP Fire, even though I am Scarf. So I'm going to go for Superpower. I'm going to knock out the Scrafty here. I expected this thing to come in just because he's brought it in so many times before this, and I figured the Superpower was a very nice like middle ground play, because you know he could have Victini dies to rocks. You know he can't really bring in anything else. And this right here sucks. So I go Superpower, I knock out Scrafty. So that's 2 of his bulky Mons down, but he gets all 4 of his offensive Mons. 3 technically, because if he continues dead to rocks. I'm going to go into Landorus here, expecting perhaps right here I thought sub. I thought sub, like potentially sub, D-Dance, 1000 Arrows, E-Speed. If he got behind a sub, please come down to -1. And I would be able to see. But instead we see he goes for 1000 Arrows at -1. This still does a fuck ton of damage. This is banded. 100% banded. Puts a little bit of a wrench in my plan because in the long run, Voldemox saw this was mostly Life Orb, saw for a fact that this thing was doing damage on a Life Orb scale, but even though it allowed him to switch up moves, wasn't quite as much damage output. So he knocks me out. 2,000 arrows. There wasn't really a lot of my team that wanted to take 1,000 arrows, so I wasn't going to really bother with any of that, and he's certainly not in range of BP. So I am going to go here. And I'm just going to go for Boom Burst. Now, if I went for HP Ground there, first of all, it's ballsy play. I know it did knock out Doggo, but it also, I mean, if he saw some sort of hidden power, he would have expected it to, you know, be some sort of thing to hit, you know, maybe I could have drew out Neoligo. Maybe he could went right back into Doggo and just gone for an E-Speed to knock out Swallow here. But instead, I didn't. I'm just going to go for Boom Burst to get damage off. This is going to knock out my Swallow with his Neoligo. Because, again, there really wasn't a lot of my team that wanted to take a Power Gem at this point. You know, Diancie's down. Rotom is pretty much dead. Swallow, I really didn't want to switch anything out. Lando's obviously gone. Now, right here, things are getting a little bit hairy just because I'm thinking to myself, like, how do I get this end game to basically ensure that I end up winning. I'm going to go to Scizor here, and like I have, every other time. Now, if rocks weren't up, maybe a little bit, no, it's still, I guess still doesn't matter. But I end up going for U-turn, and I show right here that I'm scarfed. It does knock out Neoligo, which, does help. I'm progressively chipping down his things, and but the problem is now is that with rocks up and the fact that he does have, such a relatively healthy Greninja. If he goes for Water Shuriken when Scizor's in, he does knock me out. But instead, on that blind switch, right, I knew that Komodo at some point could sweep. Now I have Rotom left, I have Scizor left, and I have Komodo left. I know for a fact at some point that I can potentially set up with this Komodo. However, it comes down to basically how much his Ice Beam does. And because I have Close Combat, I also know for a fact that if I go for Close Combat, because I have, Aqua Tail and Poison Jab, I can't knock out Greninja at this range of HP. We have come to an issue. This is my only opportunity to set up, because if Doggo comes in, regardless of what it has, it will knock me out, because it is Choice Banded, and just because this Komodo is bulky, but I don't think it's bulky enough to take, 2,000 arrows, Rock Polish, and potentially, even then, if I have Close Combat, I'm not necessarily, well, I'm knocking it out, but I don't think I'm taking, 2,000 arrows, banded switch-ins, or even just damage period. So I'm right here going to just go for broke, and I'm going to set up. And this was pretty much at the time my only shot that I had. We were really low on timer, which I'm sure you'll see in his narration. But right here, I just go right for Rock Polish. And this might have been, dumb, but regardless, the fact is that whatever I went for, he still brings in Doggo at this point and just clicks E-Speed, because everything is just so low. And basically, at this point, I'm just trying to see if he has E-Speed. I know he does. Like, that's the bottom line, because Banded, you're not going to run not run E-Speed on a Banded set. It's pretty much just typical. But I go for CC. I knock out Greninja. This is now a 1-0. Probably in his favor, because Rotom's so low. Scizor comes in on rocks, is also very low. Banded E-Speed is going to knock it out. Banded E-Speed is going to knock this out. So the issue forthcoming with this set, as you guys heard in the team builder, if I had brought damn Drain Punch, this game could have been different. Now I say that because, alright, Komodo drops. Now I'm going to bring in a very high-tech, super state-of-the-art notepad to show exactly what the incidents that occurred and how it basically could have changed the end tide of the match to allow me to win upwards of 3-0, possibly 2-0 if Komodo had been knocked out. So, we have Komodo was at 36 of 160 HP after the Ice Beam and the Water Shuriken from Greninja. That is about 22%. Greninja had its spread for its bulk was 236 HP, 4 defense, leaving it about 85 of 177 HP. So basically about 48%, 44%, what gave me about, says 24%, 22, 24%, putting Komodo at between 44 to 46%. Now, Adamant, max attack, banded E-Speed from Zydogo to about 32, 38%. And I wasn't going to one-shot the Doggo, but Drain Punch doing 60-70%, and I would heal about 24 or 29 based on the fact that he was super not bulky, because it's a very frail Doggo. Meaning that if I Drain Punch, probably could have won, because I Drain Punch this thing down. This thing is below, first of all, probably below 30%. Because 60% being the min roll, the fact that it's not at 100% leaves it at less than 30%. I can get it low, and if he crits me with an E-Speed, okay, that's kind of an issue. Then he would knock out Komodo based on the fact that how low I was, and also if he crit me on the first one, I would get HP back, but I would be so low that I wouldn't be able to live the second one. And then if he crits me on the second one after I get HP back, I'm still not in a good range to take that second one, and I would be crits Scizor, crits Rotom, doesn't matter, game's over. So basically, the bottom line is that we look at the bottom here, right? How I could have lost. He crit me like I just said. Or he gets 36-39% rolls with the E-Speed, and I get a 26-27% recovery rollback, which is about a mid-low roll. I probably wouldn't have had enough HP to live the second E-Speed. So but he would have been in range of BP. But I got so close. Like, I got so damn close. And, like, when the match ended, I sat here and I went, God damn it. I got so damn close to winning this freaking game. Like, I took someone who's undefeated in the GBA, along with Jolt, to the goddamn wire. I took him to the very brink of defeat. And I could have done it. Now, because he was locked into E-Speed and because I only had Scarf BP, I don't think I would have went first because E-Speed does have a higher priority. It was a lower percent, so I couldn't obviously knock out or even, you know, out-prioritize with my own BP. I thought there that I could have, if he didn't knock me out with E-Speed, you know, whatever, for whatever reason, I could have gotten a bit more damage off with like a superpower or knockoff or whatever. Didn't matter. I knew I lost pretty much, but I just... okay. In my preparation, in everything I did leading up into this match, there was no reason that Drain Punch would have made a difference. Because whether it was Magnezone, whether it was Greninja, whether it's Zygarde Doggo, whether it was whatever, I needed the power from close combat. I needed to have that necessary means of knocking something out. Or even if Komodo hadn't been the end game sweeper, I needed something that would be able to actually punch holes. And having Drain Punch, well, it would have allowed me to get HP back. A lot of his things don't have great HP stats. A lot of his things don't have the necessary HP that I could take back and get that necessary recovery. We saw Doggo doesn't have all that much HP, and if I was doing, you know, 60-72%, I'm only getting back 24 to 29. That says a lot about its frailty. Obviously, you know, Scrafty, if it was defensive, it would have had something to perhaps take a non-like D-Dance boosted Drain Punch or even close combat, you know, and I'm sure he had the investment. Then we have, you know, we have Uxie, we have Bulu, we have Victini, all things that resist the fighting stab. Magnezone, you know, Greninja, two things that I had the capability of setting up on, but I still need that power from close combat. Bottom line is that it sucks that I lose to a 50-50 slot move choice. Close combat or Drain Punch. Close combat or Drain Punch. But the one thing I will say is that I took someone who is damn good to the goddamn wire. 1-0. So cut me some slack, because I know I did a damn good job at probably giving Chimp one of the hardest matches he will have all season. Whether it's against me or it's against someone in the other division, I think this is a damn good game and probably one of the closest games that we've seen all season. And hey, if I had Drain Punch and even things didn't quite work out, it still would have been a close game. And regardless of the winner, you can't say that I played poorly, because I put myself in a position to possibly win had it not been for one move. One goddamn move. So, I'm so upset at myself because I knew for a fact that getting this win would have been... it would have been great, because it would have showed people that I'm not actual trash. I don't think this match even showed that I was actual trash, that I did exactly what I needed to do to win, and I got there. I just got so close to the finish line. But I got someone who is, honest to God, one of the best people that I think is in the GBA this current season, and has a very scary team. I did my best. I hope that you guys see how I did and how I really had the mindset and how I tried my damnedest to get this W. And I hope that you guys aren't, you know, you aren't going to tear me apart, whether it's the power rankings or whether it's, you know, the recaps, whether it's you guys in the comments, whatever. I think I did my best. I'm not taking anything back from this game that I did, play-wise, prep-wise, whatever. We're going in next week. We're taking on Mono. Another very hard match, another great opponent, but I've already got my prep on. I'm ready to take him on, and I know for a fact that I'm going to give him another damn good match, and I intend on beating him because we have a stake on the line. And every year when he and I play, basically the winner gets dinner from the other person. So last year I ordered him a burger that was, you know, like meat in the wound, and because he 6-0'd me hard, and I'm not letting that happen again this season. So my team next week will also be great team. I'm so excited. I hope you guys are too. I'm not letting this loss shake me. I know for damn well that I did a great job, and I will continue using these lessons, what I'm doing well, what I'm not doing well, and I'm fixing it, and I'm moving forward, so I will not get 6-0'd. I will beat people, and I will show people I'm not trash. That's motivation. Let's go Sharpedos. Taking this 1-0 in stride, and we're moving forward. I'm still, you know, 2-2, I think, +2, I think. So I'm still ahead of John. Mono, whatever his result is against Wolfie, John against Gator. I'm still in running contention with everyone in my division. And hey, if John beats Gator or Gator beats John, that's just better for me. So we're going to move on from that. Sorry for the long ramble. I'll see you guys next week for Mono. I know I'm going to catch a W next week, so don't lock against me in the pick'ems. Got it? Good. All right. That's all. See you later. Bye.